Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be working on a chair. It's going to be a pencil sketch of this chair. Now when I start, I usually use a 2B pencil, a 4B pencil, a paper stump, a monoline eraser, and the little brush that gets rid of the eraser bits. Now when I start, I always use a box, and then I draw the box. I find the midpoint of the box, especially for this one. It's going to be some kind of like a metal base. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out the box. I'm going to use a reference image, and I have the link for this reference image in the description. So if you want to draw something as well, you can, draw the same bit if you want. Now I'm going to look at the angles for the front of this chair and what kind of angle it makes. Like at the box perimeter, is it straight up and down, or does it go at an angle? And how big is the flare? Now I need to correct my angle here. Now everything right now is very loose and conceptual in a sketch. I am a loosey-goosey kind of sketcher. And, I mean, people who can do like one perfect line and it works great, that's wonderful for them. I am not that kind of sketcher. I use really quick, kind of light lines until I get the form or the shape that I like. And then when I like it, I'll go a little bit darker. And sometimes I make mistakes, and then I just, erase those lines. But initially, I am just slowly kind of looking at, what's the proportion? Is it higher or is it wider? Where's my midpoint? Where are these prongs going to be? Stuff like that. So I am very loose when I start to sketch, and then when I like it, then I hardline it, and then I kind of fine tune it from there. So when I do these sketch exercises, I'm just showing you my approach. I mean, there are lots of different ways to sketch. This is just the way I do it. So if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, I'm sure you can find another video. All right. So now I'm looking at the negative space to see, what is the shape that this creates. I am not really, shading too much at this point because I still want to make sure my form is correct before I spend a lot of time shading. So, where is this intersection occurring? I think I need to make it a little bit wider. So I'm going to look at that negative shape, and it should be shorter. So that's why I made it wider. I'm going to make this pillow a little bit wider. Okay. Maybe make this one, make it a little bit shorter. So that means this guy is a little bit more short. This is a little wide. Okay. So I have made the chair more wide. So this part right here, it's way too much, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that bit. And I use a little brush because if I don't, I end up with a lot of pencil smudges on my hands, and then when I wipe my face, I'm like looking really rough. So I try to remember to use a brush. All right, so now I like the form a little bit better, and I'm going to go ahead and start shading. This is still the 2B pencil, and I'm using that paper stump to kind of move the graphite around so it gives it some kind of base color. So I am getting that. And I didn't erase all those lines before because I figure the pencil's shading will kind of hide all my oopsie doopsies. And I'm just going to go ahead and darken and define those lines a little bit more. I've got my 4B pencil now, so that way when I put down the shading for the with this 4B pencil, it's a little bit darker because the pencil is a softer pencil, so I can go darker with my shading, and then it becomes easier to use the paper stump. So here's that paper stump. If you have it, great. Sometimes I've seen students use like Q-tips. Sometimes I've seen them use soft fabric, a little scrap fabric. Sometimes I've seen people use Kleenex. Sometimes I've seen people use their fingers, but if you've got really sweaty fingers, I probably wouldn't do it that way. So now I'm looking at the reference photo to see like where is it darker, and I'm going to try to go a little bit darker there. Now this paper that I'm using is not a dedicated sketch paper. It is literally paper from my printer. So if you're using your sketchbooks, that's fine. You probably have better paper than I do. This is just your basic 20-pound paper. So I am trying to get my edges a little bit darker where the front is. I'm going to use my paper stump to get the edges a little bit darker where the shadow is. Try to blend it so it's a little bit more smooth. On this side, so they can define the front of these arms a little bit better. A little bit cast shadow there from that pillow. Get a little bit darker here. All right, so I will, keep playing with this shading. I'm probably going to correct the legs a little bit, look at the negative shape that it's created. I probably won't end up erasing the box that I had initially drawn, because this is a study. It's not like making money off of this. This is just a, how do I draw this chair? So hopefully it helps you. If it doesn't, I'm sure you'll find some other video that'll help you a little bit more. All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to erase some areas here where I want a little bit more of a light, dedicated area. So it's a lighter value contrast. So I've got really light values and then really dark values, and that's the way I like to do my drawings, so that it has some kind of range. I don't like things totally dark, but I don't like things totally light either. And that's why I like to use the eraser, just in case I try to keep some areas light, but sometimes I, smudge a line or make a mistake or whatever, and that's where that monoline eraser. Now this one, I'm extending the prong because I think it needs to be a little bit longer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and blend this a little bit more. Get these edges a little bit more sharp. So my oopsie doopsie from before, it's not as noticeable as it was initially. My sketch lines that I had done. So it looks something like this. I hope it helps you, and here's some more, a little bit darker, some hatching, cross hatching. I mean, there are some other videos I've shot that if this is a little bit more complicated of a chair, you can definitely check out the other videos I have. So I hope that helps you, and I'll see you next time.